Hello, this is a video I'm going to make really quickly here to get you started in a little bit of Inventor and a little bit of 3D printing. It's going to be a pretty simple video, not going to be crazy complicated. We're going to be using Autodesk Inventor and Cura to generate our part. Okay, I'm now going to share my screen if I can figure out how to do that. Beautiful. Okay, so here we can see Autodesk Inventor. This is a pretty standard, pretty easy to use piece of software that I really like. The thing that's really interesting about this piece of software is we're actually going to be working in a similar environment as if we were working with clay, really is how it works. There's some CAD softwares where you're almost drawing on a piece of paper. This is more like working with clay. So we've got a new IPT opened. Okay, I'm going to go up here to new. Standard IPT is what we're looking for. I've got one of those opened up. This is going to be a singular part. So it's going to be if I just had one piece of metal and I whittled this chunk out of it. It's not going to be what we do for a welding or glue up with wood or anything like that. This is one individual piece of material, which is perfect for 3D printing. So we're going to start off by creating a sketch. They tell you that you should really be working on the XY plane. In a practical purpose, it doesn't matter what plane you're working on. Also, you'll hear people say you should always be drawing in the positive quadrant. As someone who's been doing this for a whole bunch of years, it doesn't really matter. It's a good practice, it doesn't matter. We're going to start off with just you can see here I've jumped into a different menu and everything looks confusing and scary. Don't know what's going on up here. It ain't that bad. Come back here, sketch is our active plane. This is a number of different menus, different options, how to change colors and stuff. Sketch and 3D model are the most predominant and the most useful. So sketch is a 2D environment. 3D model is obviously a 3D environment. We've got a 2D sketch going here. We're going to come in here. We're just going to toss a rectangle in. I've got to look at my print of this part. Come on. And it looks like our part needs to be I'm going to guess it's 1.46. 1.46. My drawing, the image I was sent is cut off, so I'm going to have to take a little bit of a guess at that. And the depth of this part, we're going to go with 0.625. That's 5/8 of an inch. Down, there's also a little thing that sticks off the bottom here, kind of like this. And we're going to make this guy come off 0.75. Okay, now we're ready to extrude this shape. You can see this line is not dimensioned, and that's definitely something we should do. I kind of was forgetting about that, I'm not going to lie. Looks like this is 1/4 of an inch thick, 2.5. Okay, so we're ready to extrude our part. We're going to come up here and click Finish Sketch up here in this top corner, right here, Finish Sketch. You're going to see it zooms in and it turns the object. You can use this cube up here to look around and see what I'm doing. I'm just clicking on different faces. It's going to rotate the part for us. Okay. Now we're going to come up here to extrude. This is the primary tool we use in the 3D environment. There's certainly a lot of other things, but this is the heavy lifter. Now it's going to bring up this menu, and Autodesk has a ton of these different menus. It's going to automatically give you some options, and it's going to allow you to come through and select stuff. Generally, we work from the top down. In a lot of cases, some of these boxes are already selected, and it's really going to be an advanced function to mess with any of this stuff. So right now we can see we're extruding 1 inch. If I click on the shape, it will automatically do that. Now, I really would rather extrude backwards in this case. So we're going to do that. I got to open up my drawing one more time. It's on my phone, so I keep having to do Face ID. And this part is going back 1.6 inches. 1.6 inches. Okay, so there's 1.6 inches. Anything else we need to do there? Not really. One thing you will notice at times, sometimes it'll be really tough to select the geometry you're looking to extrude. If that's the case, it's honestly because you have a bad loop, which means that your 2D sketch you did didn't go so well. Maybe it didn't close up. Maybe it's kind of a line, not per se a loop. So there's a lot of functionality with that. In the 2D sketch environment, there's a right-click close loop tool. crazy helpful to solve those type of problems. Okay, right now we're in good shape. Click OK. And now you can see we actually have some solid geometry here to play with. This part is going to require a hole through this surface. So that's going to be our next step. Now, as with anything, there's a million different ways of doing this. I could have drawn my part inherently as this like O shape or this box that we have to make in here. Could have done that. Could have done it a million different ways. Your creativity and the way you think about solving the problem is what's going to help you there. I'm going to come in, I'm going to toss a 2D sketch on that surface. Draw my rectangle in here. You can actually work on a 2D sketch in a 3D environment, which can be pretty useful at times to kind of remember like what's going on and where you're looking at stuff. Looks like we're putting a hole in here, and our hole is going to be 1.1 inches in this direction, 1.1. And our hole is going to be, looks like 0.26 in this direction, 0.26. Okay, as you can see, this is a real small little nubbins there now. And we got to center it up in the part, which can be kind of tricky at times. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You could do the math for yourself. You can do a number of different things. I'll show you a quick trick right now that I really like. And that is I'm going to put a dimension here and I'm going to set it to 0. Now you can see it's all the way over to that side. I'm going to figure out what the dimension here is going to be. I'm going to try to place this and it's going to yell at me. Okay. So we can see here it says, we don't want this dimension. It's going to be problematic. It's going to be a driven dimension, meaning I'm over constraining the sketch. I'm putting too much in there. It doesn't need this information. Okay. I'm going to click accept anyways. It's going to say 1/2 inch. Okay. Once that is in there, I'm going to remember that 1/2 inch in my head. And I'm going to come over here to this one and I'm going to constrain that one. So I'm actually going to have to delete this first. There it is. I'm going to come over to this one. I'm going to say 1/2 divided by 2.25. There's a number of more complicated ways of doing it. You can have the computer do algebra, do a whole bunch of other stuff. Generally, I don't do the method I just showed you. It's just the simplest way. Generally, I'll do something with some algebra in it to solve the problem. Okay, I'll give you a real quick example of that. It's certainly not the necessary way of doing it. I'm going to come in, I'm going to give myself a unnecessary dimension there. I'm going to come in, figure out this number, and now I'm going to change this to be a formula to solve for this. Okay, so equals, actually I don't need to do equals, I'm thinking of Excel. I'm going to do this number minus this number right here, and I'm going to put that in parentheses, and that's not right. I'm going to do this number minus this number. Oh no, I think I was right. And then I'm going to do divide by 2. That should put that mathematically in the center. And that sure looks like it. Just to verify my work. Oh no. I'm not right. I'm horribly awry. Not good, not good, folks. I have found the source of my error. D8's not what we need. It's this one right here. Problems, problems, problems. There we go. That's going to be perfect. And it is. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm still in my 3D environment, as you can see by these crossed lines here, showing me I'm in the 2D sketch environment. I'm going to click Finish Sketch here real quick. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to extrude this center chunk out. just like that. Now that center chunk is chopped out of there. And as far as I'm concerned, my part's pretty well done. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to look over my dimensions one more time. Be sure there's the bell. My part looks pretty good. So now, before we move on in our lives, let's be smart about things. Let's go ahead and save this. Okay, save it to your desktop, save it wherever you're going to save it. But let's go ahead and get that saved someplace. There it is. Okay, you can see it's kind of configured itself. Now, here's the thing. In order to get this into an environment where we can actually 3D print it, we're going to have to export it. I'm going to go File, Export. I'm going to go CAD format. I'm going to come in here and change this to an STL file. Now that it's in STL, one last thing we have to do, we have to go to Options. We have to change our units to millimeters. Sometimes it's defaulted to centimeters. If you export in centimeters and you go into your slicing software before you 3D print, sometimes you can have some issues. So I'm gonna click OK now. Now I am in Cura. You can see this is a print I've been working on here. Pretty long print, 18 hours. Ooh. Smaller prints are significantly faster. This one's just gigantic. So what we're going to do here, we're going to come up here and get a new file going for us. I don't think I saved that thing. Part 8. I got to click save. That was my problem. Back to Cura. Okay, you can see there's my old part. We're going to delete that thing. Here's my new little widget we just made. Okay, close this guy. Cura is a very intuitive software. It's a little different from how Inventor works, so sometimes that can be a little tricky to you, but you should get the hang of it. To move stuff around, I'm right-clicking my mouse. To actually click stuff, I'm using the obvious, the left click, the regular click button. I don't know what you call it. I can click and drag stuff around. Using this tool, I can flip stuff around. It's pretty intuitive. This is the best part right here, though. This automatically flattens the part. So I'm going to click automatically flatten, and it should. Come on. Come on. Oh, did I have the wrong button clicked? There it is. This is what I'm looking for, lay flat. It's going to automatically snap it like that. In this case, I really want to print this in this orientation. So there we go. We're ready to go. I'm going to click slice now. It's made my file. It's automatically ready to go. But a lot of times we actually want to edit some of our print quantities, and that's where this menu comes in over here. This is kind of the custom menu, which gives you a little bit more options. You can also go back and it'll give you this kind of basic file. And this is really what we need for what we're doing today. So looking at here, this is the layer height. Okay, 0.2 layer height's really pretty coarse, but for what we're doing should work just fine. And the percent of infill. As you increase the infill, you're going to be spending a lot more in plastics. You're going to be spending a lot more in the time it takes to print. So something right between the 10 to 20% really generally works pretty good. This is a 20% infill. This is a 10%. This one's a pretty small part. It's not a big difference to go a little chunkier. So I'm going to go with a 20% infill. If I want to go to my custom menus, I can do a lot more editing of settings and tuning stuff up. And I will be actually doing that here, making sure my print speed is pretty decent and using a brim to adhere the part to the thing, to the build plate. All that means is it's going to print about 1/4 of an inch all the way around it, kind of like the brim of a cowboy hat, to stick the part down to the thing. Okay, down to the build plate, I should say. So now that I've edited those, I'm going to hit slice again. It's going to re-image everything. I'm going to grab an SD card. Got to have a good SD card reader situation in order to be able to 3D print. I don't know what's going on, but if you have, like, it's just such a nightmare and constantly putting in SD cards into laptops and stuff, it's terrible. Here you can see it's going to take 1 hour and 22 minutes to print. It's going to cost me 13 grams in plastic, which isn't much. You buy 1,000-gram rolls, so it's not a big deal. Click save to file. One thing that's really nice about Cura is it automatically looks for that SD card. It's like, hey, you want to save this to an SD card, I know it. There's my SD card. Now I can just come in here, toss my file in place. I gotta name it something. And there's my file ready to go. And that really pretty much concludes this video here. Just gotta find out how to end it. That's what I always struggle with here. Not starting a poll, that's not what we're looking for. It's like when you can't figure out how to hang up. I don't want to rename myself. Oh, there it is, the end button. Folks, it's been real. Have a good one.